All right, what's up, guys? Bear down. I'm very excited for this mock draft. I think this is going to be another popular video because of the approach that we take on it. So I'm going to give credit to Robin Leffler on this one. She proposed the idea of what we're going to do in this draft, and that we're going to take a player in the trade, the initial trade down, and we're going to trade back up into the first round. So this is an exciting one for me, and I really appreciate you tuning in for it. Before we go any farther, I just want to say a thank you to everyone who's been tuning into the channel, who has subscribed, and who's been a part of me starting this thing out. It's just a baby channel. It's just a little one. But I just got microphone today. If you watched my last video, I have these videos planned out, and then I need to put sound to them, and I need to put it all together. And I put that one together, and I published it without understanding the microphone at first. It's good content, but the sound isn't great. Hopefully the sound is great moving forward. And appreciate y'all checking this channel out and being a part of it. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. I do want to do this more and more, and I feel like I have some valuable insights. Hopefully there's something you can take from it. And if you do, please just like it and subscribe because it helps me out. I appreciate it a lot. All right, so in this video, we're going to get back to the basis of it. It's going to be one trade down in the beginning. The proposal was in the beginning to have two, but we're modifying it. We're going to do one trade down in the beginning, one that makes the most sense and the most value to pick up draft capital, as well as a player acquired in that draft, that draft trade. And then we're going to trade back into the first round to acquire the value that's in this draft. So that's what we're going to do in this video. Okay. And this is probably my favorite one so far, but also because I've researched some more guys, and there's some pieces that I really like and some angles I want to go in. So this is where we're at. This is the order, the draft order. This is not set in stone. Below that line, it's still moving. And in fact, I projected the Texans to lose before this was made, but that's okay. That doesn't affect this one because we're going to trade back in, and we're going to trade with the Cowboys who did lose. So our decisions that are made as Justin Fields is tendered his fifth-year option. Doesn't have to be controversial, guys. It's just for this video. This is what, let's say this is what they do, and there's some things that are lining up with the interviews and with the way the team's going that might be very likely what happens. So let's say Justin Fields is on his cheap contract this year. We tender him his fifth-year option in March, and they announce a trade with the Atlanta Falcons in March to send them the first overall pick. And I'll show you why we want to do this in March, because there's a valuable player on their team that's coming up at the end of his contract. Jalen Johnson signs his 4-year extension. This isn't groundbreaking. The value is going to be somewhere around there. Let's not get stuck in semantics of $500,000 or whatever. So here's our pre-draft trade. Chicago Bears successfully trade down with the Atlanta Falcons 1-1 to 1-8. And what they get in return is the first, second, and third rounders this year. And the third rounder is the one from Jacksonville for the Calvin Ridley trade. So first, second, and third rounder. We get their first rounder in 2025, and we get their second rounders in 25 and 26. Okay? The kicker to all this is we get Kyle Pitts. The reason the Falcons are willing to do this is they are coming up on some salary cap, but they got Jonnu Smith last year, who as a tight end has performed better. Okay? And they have some other pieces they have as well. They're coming up on the fifth-year option. $10 million for a tight end is a little expensive, but really Kyle Pitts is a glorified wide receiver more than a tight end. We have Cole Kmet, and we're going to draft another tight end because we have Mercedes Lewis and we have Robert Tonyan, who didn't have the best of years. Lewis wasn't as bad, but he's getting older. And so we have the two of them on expiring contracts. We're going to get Kyle Pitts. He's 6'6", 250 pounds. He was picked in the first round of the 2021 draft, the same time Justin Fields was. And he's coming up at the end of his fourth year. This will be his fourth season, just like Justin Fields. So he'll be coming up on fifth-year extension time. That fifth year is only going to cost $10 million. Now, for a tight end, that's a little bit expensive. But for a wide receiver, it's really cheap. Really cheap. And he really plays that role as a wide receiver. So even in the 12 personnel sets where there's two tight ends on the field, he's going to be more of a wide receiver for us than a blocker. Kyle Pitts has huge value in the Bears system. That's why I like this trade. Sorry, I had to pause it to cough for just a second. All right, so we're going to get Kyle Pitts as part of that trade, and let's look at where that leaves the Bears now. Okay, so here's his metrics: 4.4 40, super fast for a tight end. He's tall, he's big, his hands are amazing. His blocking is decent. In the NFL level, it's been a little more rough. This is his pre-draft. This is why he was so highly rated coming out of college, why he was drafted so high. The hype is there. He hasn't really had a fair shake in Atlanta, but he has excelled in that receiver role. So here's what we have after the trade. The Bears have 1.8 from Atlanta, 1.9 our own, 240 from Atlanta, 373 our own, 381 from Atlanta, 3,100 the minority initiative trade with Ian Cunningham. I have him projected to go to the Chargers. I think he's going to get picked up there. If not, he's going to go somewhere, and maybe the Patriots. Who knows where he's going to end up? But he's going to get hired. All right, we have 411, 111, and 4125 from Philadelphia last year, trading down one spot from 9 to 10, and 5147. So if you want more on the art of the trade up or trade down and the values of those, I just put a video out just barely. The sound is a little janky on it. I didn't have the microphone down. I didn't have it like I have it for this video where things should be a lot cleaner moving forward. But the basis is there. So if you want to check some more of that out, you can. So let's get into the draft, what we're going to pick, what we're going to do to fix this team. Okay. We've got at 1.8, I don't have us picking a tackle. And if you look at our positions of need, a tackle isn't our biggest one. Okay. But there's a lot of buzz about how the top of this draft could go offensive, 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 offensive. Could be quarterback, 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 wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. And so in this mock draft, I have the Bears being presented with the opportunity at 1.8 with Joe Alt from Notre Dame. We know Ryan Poles likes his local guys. Joe Alt went to Notre Dame. And he's as elite as they get, as NFL ready as they get for a tackle. Now, Braxton Jones didn't have this bad year everyone's professing he did. He did not have a bad year. But what we do have a horrible spot at is the swing tackle. We don't have backup depth. We just don't. So having Braxton Jones as backup depth and being able to come in and plug and play Joe Alt, this makes the Bears stronger. Okay? The Bears are not a deep team when it comes to our line or some of our positions. So this helps us out immensely, and the Bears didn't expect it, but we're presented with it, and there's no way we pass up on Joe Alt if he's there at 1.8. If there's other positions, other spots a little higher, yeah, but not at 1.8. All right. Now at 1.9, the Bears are going to trade down again. So this was part of our parameters again. The Bears are going to trade down from 1.9 to 113. We're going to trade with the Raiders. We're going to get 113, 204, and a second-round pick next year. Just a small trade down. And with that, the Bears are going to pick up Jared Verse, defensive end of Florida State. Liatu Latu is my bar none favorite. We're going to say in this example, he went right before 8. He went at 7. I do map out my entire mock draft. But we're going to say he went at 7. That left us with Jared Verse or Dallas Turner. I like Jared Verse more. I think he's a complete package when it comes to the pass rush. He's going to get us a lot of sacks. So I like this. So here's where we stand after that. We've got Joe Alt. We've got Jared Verse. We've got 240, 373. We've got 3 third-rounders because of the Ian Cunningham minority initiative. And then in the future, we've got first-round picks from Atlanta next year, second-round picks from Carolina, Las Vegas, Atlanta, and our own still. And then in 2026, second-round pick from Atlanta. All right, so now we're going to go into our trade up. So the Bears are going to trade up to get into the first round, okay? We're going to trade not our second-round pick. This is where it gets creative. This is the creative approach to this draft. We're going to trade with the Cowboys, who have already had buzz about them about trading out of the first round. But we're going to trade them a future first-round pick and a future fourth-round pick with this year's third and fifth-round picks for a first, a fifth this year. So there's fifth-round pick swapping coming up and a future third-round pick. Okay? This all maps out. If you look at it, they're getting the advantage here. We're trading up. We need to pick who we want to pick, and we want to pick Tyler Nubin. Now, if you go look at his metrics and you look at how he is, as the draft comes along, he's going to get more and more hype. He's going to go at the end of the first round. You can look at some places that they don't tell the whole story about everything. Where they're projected right now does not necessarily mean the end all be all. Tyler Newton's going to go in the end of the first round. He is a first round pick. He led every category for safeties this year. He's a ball hawk. He fits perfectly for the Bears once we cut Eddie Jackson. He's who we want. So I have us going to get Tyler Newton, safety, Minnesota. We traded up into the first round to get him. We got three first round picks this year with all the trades that we created. All right. With that, we're going to pick in the second round, our 40th pick. We're going to pick Xavier Legette, the wide receiver from South Carolina. We're going to go a little quicker through these picks now, but he fits a specific role as the X receiver for us. He's talented as all get out. I like him a lot. 73rd pick, we're still going to pick Zach Zinter, the guard from Michigan. He's not going to be available for a little bit of the season. We don't know how much yet, but he is a great prospect, and he can come in without pressure on him with Nate Davis there. If Nate Davis performs this year, he's still got his job. If not, we've got a solid backup guard. Some of you are going to be surprised I don't take a center. I'm going to show you why. The 100th pick, we're going to pick a running back. Running back has been growing on me. Audric Estime, running back from Notre Dame. Look into him a little bit more. You're going to like him. He's not the strongest pass blocker, but he is a workhorse. He's going to be a great running back, in my opinion, in the NFL, and he's going to come in better than Deonta Foreman was for us in that role. All right, with the 111th pick, we're going to pick Cade Stover, who I think is a great prospect to grow. No pressure on him. We've got Cole Kmet and Kyle Pitts now, and now Cade Stover can learn behind them and come in with certain 12 personnel where we need more of a blocker to go along with Cole Kmet. Right, with the 125th pick, we're going to pick Darius Robinson. He might be climbing the boards, guys, but right now this is where we've got him at. I really like him. I hope we take him. To me, he's one of the steals of this draft, so let's hope that we end up getting him. All right, we're going to move on. And make a trade now. We're going to trade up because we traded down as part of our trade package to come up into the round. We're going to give away 6,204 as part of one trade and 5,174 as part of another to come up to 150 because Joe Milton is still there. And you guys are starting to learn that I have a like for Joe Milton as a backup developmental quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to replace Tyson Bagent or Justin Fields, but I think there's potential there. And good teams with good systems who bring in good quarterbacks, good offensive coordinators, good quarterback coaches are going to bring these guys in and want to develop them. So I have that being the quarterback we pick to bring in for depth. And he's got a cannon for an arm. If you haven't watched my other stuff, check it out. He can literally throw the ball 90 yards. He's just not accurate when he goes that deep. So here's our draft picks. We got Joe Alt, Jared Verse, Tyler Newton, Xavier Legette, Zach Zinter, Audric Estime, Cade Stover, Darius Robinson, Joe Milton III. If this is the Bears draft and we got 6 first 2 days picks and 3 first round picks, I'm going to be flipping out, guys. I'm going to be the happiest Bears fan in the world. We just won the draft. But here's where we're going to pair up with it, and this is why. So part of the Bears' problem is we have lack of depth all around, and we have one of the worst. All right, first let's look at our future picks. Kind of went over that earlier. Let's go through that kind of quick. We're going to jump forward. Okay, so here's the guys that we're going to pick up in free agency. My favorite new guy is Lloyd Cushberry. And that came after Connor Williams got injured. I started looking around and doing deeper metrics on some of these guys. Lloyd Cushberry, the Denver center, is equally strong in the run and pass game. And to me, he is a freaking stallion that I want to sign in a heartbeat. I want him to be the #1 target that Ryan Poles goes for this offseason. 1 sack allowed in 1,000 plays, 73 PFF grade, which is really strong. And he's equally as strong in the run and the pass game. All right, the second one, I've already mentioned in other ones, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Here's the reason why, though, guys. The Bears had 2 guys with a PFF grade above 60 at all of the wide receiver or tight end positions. position this year. It was abysmal. It's tied for worst in the league. He didn't have anybody to throw to. Nobody was creating separation. Nobody was hanging onto the ball except DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. Donovan Peoples-Jones was having a rough year in Cleveland. And more of that was on quarterback play. And one of the only groups of quarterbacks to be rushed or hurried more than Justin Fields was the Browns. And the Browns dealt with it. They did better than the Bears dealt with it, but they had a better overall unit than the Bears did. The Bears didn't have guys getting open. Donovan Peoples-Jones is a career 65 PFF grade. He had a career low to start this year. Then, when he got traded to Detroit, that came back up. The issue was the inconsistent quarterback play he was getting. With his separation and his play and his height, he would get opportunities. He would be a great number 4 wide receiver. Okay, and then my last one is Mike Hecht from the Rams. He's going to be a cheap value on the defensive line for what he does. He got 6 sacks last year, 1 forced fumble, 39 total pressures. But he is a workhorse, and I really like his play. Just go Google in or YouTube in Mike Hecht highlights, and you're going to see that this is a guy that is definitely stronger than Justin Jones, stronger than some of the other guys we've had, and we still have weakness on that line. We need more depth. So this is a depth piece for us. Okay, and we're going to look at... So here's what I was saying about the PFF. We only had 1 last year, or we had 2 last year, Cole Kmet and DJ Moore. Here is what you're getting after all of these moves. DJ Moore was 89.4 this last year. He was elite. DJ Moore is one of the best wide receivers in the league. You don't really need me to explain that any further to you. Xavier Legette in college this last year, 82.8. That's going to translate to the NFL to some extent, but there's going to be some adapting. Hopefully he's one of those that adapts quickly. Cole Kmet, 73.7 this last year. Kyle Pitts, 68.1 in Atlanta. Donovan Peoples-Jones. So those 5, I believe, can give us a core 5 option to really make this open up for DJ or for Justin Fields and give us a lot stronger option. We need to pair that up with a better offensive line. What I've got here is Jalen Johnson gets re-signed. So look in the middle here where the red is. Jalen Johnson is our priority. We extend him. Lloyd Cushberry we get on a 3-year, $15 million a year deal. We re-sign Equinemius St. Brown. I know we don't necessarily love everything about his game, but he is an elite blocker, and that still continued this year. So I have us re-signing him on a league minimum contract. Same with Lucas Patrick. We don't love it, but as a 4th backup piece, he's not going to see much field. He's going to be more like Dan Feeney was this year if injuries happen. He has experience with this team, and he's an elite run blocker. He's just really got issues with the pass blocking, which is one of the biggest reasons Justin Fields had such a hard year. We're going to have Mike Hecht. We're going to have Kyle Pitts on his contract, Donovan Peoples-Jones. We're going to re-sign Dylan Cole to the special teams, and Patrick Scales to the special teams as well. I mean, Dylan Cole is technically a linebacker, but he's not going to see much time there. He's mostly going to be a special teams guy. All right, and that leads us to our breakdown of positions. This is how the team looks after all of that. Our quarterback room is still solid in my opinion. But look over on the offensive line. We got Lloyd Cushberry at center, Kevin Jenkins at guard, Nate Davis at guard, but Zach Zinter there willing to learn and grow. Ja'Tyre Carter is not an answer. He's really just a depth piece, and so is Lucas Patrick. So think of them as 3rd stringers. Then you've got Darnell Wright and Joe Alt as your starting tackles, with Braxton Jones as a swing tackle who is highly rated and is a powerful swing tackle. That is a great piece to have as a swing tackle. He is, by all measure, a low-level starter. He deserves to be a starter in the NFL, but he's not an elite starter. So if you have Joe Alt fall into your lap at 1.8, you take Joe Alt at 1.8. That's just how it works. Larry Borum is just that depth piece. So really, Larry Borum, Ja'Tyre Carter, and Lucas Patrick are 3rd-string type guys that are just on the roster for that reason, and that's a lot better than where we were last year. The wide receiver room is extremely upgraded, and Audric Estime really helps us in the running area as well. All right, so we go to the defensive side. Montez Sweat and Jared Verse starting. Now, the same thing can be said with DeMarcus Walker. He is starter caliber, but really, he's low-level starter caliber. I like DeMarcus Walker, and I think he has a lot of positive. But he's not elite. And in the draft, with this much draft capital, that's what you're trying to capitalize on. And then what you have is Darius Robinson and Michael Hecht. coming in as backup guys there. With Dominic Robinson, I really see him as expendable. This is really just the last year of his contract that we're just buying time until we can continue to build this team brick by brick. Dominic Robinson is not making the progress we want him to make. Andrew Billings had a great year. Gervon Dexter is improving significantly, and Zach Pickens is really a backup role type of guy, in my opinion. The secondary, to me, is one of the most elite in the league with these additions. Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, and then, I don't know why I have defensive tackle. Oh, that's on the other side. Sorry. Free safety, Tyler Nubin and Jaquan Brisker. Those five, that's elite. So this is our mock draft 6.0. It's my favorite one so far. This one was with the parameters, but that's what we ended up getting out of it was right there. There's our draft picks. And to me, having those 3 first-rounders with Xavier Legette as a second-round wide receiver, to me, this is a home run of a draft. These things are never going to end up the way we anticipate them. It's not going to end up being perfect. But, guys, if the Bears come anything close to this, if this is the team of the future, I am stoked. This gives us depth at line, depth at both sides of the trenches, wide receiver, and we're set and good to go. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your comments. Let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe. Love doing this. I love where we're headed. Please like and subscribe it. And until next time, bear down.